Okay, so inhaling left, exhaling right. So Surya Vedana. Intention is to open up the solar channel. Inhale slowly left, exhale right. All right, the next time you exhale on that right side, you will release your hands and come to standing in Samastitihi. Okay, so coming to standing and your mat, front of the mat, hands resting at your side. Okay, so I was explaining at the beginning of class, I do have something wrong with my knee right now, and so I'm going to move with you, but at some point I may have to drop off and simply verbally cue. All right, so Samastitihi. Good, hands at your side. For a moment, roll your shoulders a couple of times. Good. Inhale, take your arms overhead, and then when we exhale, we're going to bend the legs like chair pose. Okay, so it's a cleansing breath. Okay, so releasing any stale air as we breathe like this. Times bend the knees, take your arms back. Good. Now straighten those legs, release the hands at the side. I want you to take your fingers as wide as you can, and then make fist, thumbs on the inside, and then hands wide as you can, and then fist. Good. Nice, and then release. Drop your left shoulder down, and you're going to draw your head toward the right. Focus on the stretch left side of the neck. You can feel or pretend like you've got a heavy weight in that left hand. Good, and then inhale, drop the right shoulder to the side and draw your head toward the left. Good, and release. Step your feet hips width apart. Okay, and then just allow yourself to take your hands side to side. Okay, you're actually doing this enough that you might actually slap yourself. And when you're doing that, you're influencing and warming up marma points in the body. Good. And then release. Step your feet together and inhale your arms overhead. Grab your left wrist. You make a fist, thumb on the inside. Inhale up and then exhale over. Good. And then exhale a little farther over. A little bit more. And inhaling up straight. Grab the right wrist, lengthen up. Exhale out and over. And a little bit farther. Good. Inhaling up, release. Step your feet hips width apart. Lengthen up out of your waist and just press your hips forward. I want you to focus on the stretch on the front part of your leg. If you need to, you let up a little bit and then you go back deeper. Okay. If you can, you're going to hold Good. Now inhaling up straight. You take a regular forward fold, or if you feel like you can interlace those hands behind you, you'll interlace the hands with your forward fold. Okay. You can step those hips width apart, especially if your hands are interlaced. Okay, you can take a micro bend in your belly and think about, or in your legs, and think about placing your belly on top of the thighs. If you're very flexible, I want you to be aware of this space right here at the top of your hips. So as you come forward, I want you to engage Uddiyana Bandha. Okay, so there's a slight pulling back at the top of the spine. Okay, and you can imagine creating some space, like there's a rolled up wash rag right here at the top of the hips. And so you're a little bit more rounded as opposed to flat. Okay, so that's just a cue for somebody who's flexible. You've got to especially be aware of this bandha. Okay, we all do, but for anybody who's gotten into the habit of just like not creating that space, in my own personal experience, caused a little bit of low back pain, SI joint issues, very common in yoga. Good. All right, inhale, come back up. Okay, release those hands down. We sent some energy, so the hands are back at your side. You're standing in Samastitihi. Okay, we released some energy to our spine and our arms, beginning to connect with movement. Okay, so in bring our hands together overhead. Drop your head back and you're going to look at those hands. So as your arms journey up, that's the inhale. As the inhale is complete, you're going to exhale down. They go to your shins or the floor. Okay, your head goes toward your shin, and then you inhale, you look up halfway. Okay, so as you look up halfway, draw that chin up. Good. Now step back to your tabletop, warming up your vinyasa to begin with. You're in tabletop. Elbows go straight back, shoulders forward. You're able to hold that chaturanga for a moment before you place your chest down. Good. Now press into the tops of the feet and your hips. You're going to inhale, open up to a low cobra. Some of you may come into your full upward dog. Good. And then come back through your tabletop, turn your toes under. You're back in your first downward dog. For this first downward dog, I'll allow you to pedal those legs, dropping one heel deeper than the other, okay? But then I want you to, by that second, third breath, okay, find some stillness. Hold that downward dog in stillness and becoming aware of whether or not your weight is held mostly in your hands or your feet. Okay. Checking your stance from that downward dog. I want you to come forward to a plank. Notice when you did this, did you reposition your feet? Go ahead and reposition the feet so you can hold the plank. Now press back to your downward dog. Don't adjust. Allow this to be your downward dog. It's going to feel somewhat awkward. Good. On your next exhale, bend your knees. And as you do, if you have to, you walk. Otherwise, you're going to float forward. Okay, so inhale to bring your feet forward. And as you do, at the same time, you look up. It's all part of that inhale. And then exhale, take your head back down. Inhale, draw your arms up and overhead. Drop your head back and look. You're stretching the neck as you do that. And then release the hands by your side. Okay, moving with the breath. Inhale, arms up and overhead, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we look up halfway. Exhale, step back and modify your vinyasa or move from plank all the way to chaturanga, belly down. Inhale, come through to your upward dog. Good. And then back to your downward dog. Downward dog may feel slightly awkward because many of us don't do downward dog with the proper spacing. That's why there's always that wiggling and the rolling over of feet, okay? So working to cut short all those extra movements that you don't need. They expend energy, and then you use that energy in different ways. On the next exhale, bend the knees, float forward. As you do, you inhale, you look up halfway. Exhale, take that forehead to your shins, and then inhale all the way back up and drop your head back. Good. Exhale, take the hands down by your side. Okay, this one without my chatter. Inhale. look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, move through your vinyasa. Inhale, come into your upward dog. Exhale, back to your downward dog. 5 breaths in your downward dog. Looking back at your navel. Okay, that was 1. And 2, settling deeper into your heels. And 3. And 4. And 5. Exhale, bend the knees, float forward, front of the mat. Inhale, you're looking up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take your arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands at your sides, thumbs to teeth. Inhale, sit back to your chest. Hold. Exhale, forward fold, forehead to the shins. Inhale, look up halfway. Good. And then stepping your right leg back, bring the knee to the ground. Inhale, take your arms up and over. Good. Exhale, hands down. Stepping back to tabletop or plank. Move through your vinyasa, belly down. And find your downward dog. Good. From that downward dog, step your left leg forward. Bring your right knee to the ground. Inhale, draw your arms up and overhead. Allow yourself to warm your own body. Step your right leg forward to meet your left. And as you do, you inhale, you look up halfway. Exhale, forehead towards your shins, and then draw your arms up. You're back in your chair pose. Hold for just a beat, and then straighten your legs. Take your hands down at your side. Inhale, draw your arms up and overhead. Sit back to that chair pose. Exhale, take your hands down. Inhale, look up halfway. Step back to, step your left leg back. Bring the knee to the ground. Inhale, slide your arms up and overhead. Feel that stretch in the front of that left hip. Take your hands down, step back. Move through a vinyasa, belly down. Deep inhale as you come through to that upward dog. Fully complete it by looking up. Back to your downward dog. From that downward dog, step your right leg forward. Bring your left knee down. Inhale, draw your arms up and overhead. Exhale, take your hands down. Step that left leg forward, okay? As you do, okay, inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, forward fold, shin, forehead towards your shin. And then inhale all the way up towards your chair pose and hold. Good, and then exhale, take those hands down by your side. Okay, bending the legs like chair pose, take your hands towards your heart, shift the weight to your left leg, bring this right leg off the ground. You're barely balancing with the right leg off the ground, or you start to tilt forward. Bring that right knee as high as your hip, heel towards your back side and hold. Okay, eventually your gaze is up, your drishti is up, your hold. Are you breathing or are you holding your breath to balance? Good. Now inhale, bring the back leg forward. As you do, take your arms behind you. Right leg is bent or straight in front of you. And then move back towards your bird. Inhale, draw it forward. Exhale, send it back. Okay, next time you draw it forward, okay, left hand to your hip. Your right hand is going to take your knee. It can be bent. Okay, we're going to hold it bent forward for a little bit, then we take it to the side. If it's within your practice to grab that big toe, you can. And if you're holding this big toe and you want to challenge yourself, point the right toe and begin to forward fold, taking that forehead towards your shin and hold. Difficult balance. And then we're going to inhale, open up halfway, and exhale. And then inhale, take this leg toward the side. Okay, so you're going to notice whether or not this left hip is hanging out toward the side. Okay, I want you to get really tall on that standing leg. Okay, the left arm could go out to the side for balance, or it could stay at your hip. And then eventually you're going to look over your left shoulder. Good. Now inhale, bring this leg forward in front of you. Hold it or point the toe and forward fold. Inhale, open up halfway. Everybody release your hands to your hips. Keep that leg in the air for 1 and 2. Don't drop it. 3. Don't drop it. 4, 5. Step that leg behind you. Find yourself in high lunge. Take your arms to the side. If you're leaning forward, maybe you need to bend that back leg so you can bring the weight of your body, okay, right there over your hips, okay? Now sink deeper into this front, okay? I want, and I always say femur, if anybody's confused on the femur, I want your thigh bone, okay? Look at this. This is not parallel with the mat. Where you're going is parallel with the mat. See how I leaned forward? Maybe I bend that knee to bring the weight here. If you had a weight on your shoulders, you would have to hold like this. If you put the weight too far forward, you wouldn't be able to. So you might imagine weights on your shoulders, okay? And in fact, instead of taking your arms to the side, I want you to post those arms. Okay, so go post those arms. You imagine you have that weight. And then press into the front leg. Take your arms overhead and straighten that leg. And then exhale, you come forward. Inhale, you straighten. Exhale, come forward. Good. Inhale, you straighten. Okay. Look up as you fold. And then exhale, take your forehead toward the leg, okay? But bend down the center line. So rather than your forehead actually touch that left leg, which takes you off center, okay? It's more that the left side of your forehead might touch your left shin, okay? Now, at the same time, you're looking at that left foot or slightly in front of that left foot. Now, inhale, open up halfway. Take that left leg to the air. You're going to be in a short down dog, or just simply step the left leg back even with the right leg. Okay, and we're going to balance. So if you can balance with that left leg in the air and release the right hand, then great. If not, bring the left leg down and just work on balancing left hand and both feet. Okay, right hand's going back to the ankle or shin. I want you to really reach out. If that leg is up, I want you to reach out with that left heel. Okay, lift as high as you can. And if you need more of a challenge, bring that left heel towards your backside and take your right hand up. Okay, and then left foot toward the air. Feel the quad stretch. Good, and then release that left leg. Right hand down. Okay, walk your hand back. Little bend in your knees. I want you to round up that back vertebrae by vertebrae. And then when you reach the halfway point, take your arms wide overhead. And then bring your hands down towards your heart. Shift the weight into your left leg and moving into a tree pose. This right foot is going to be below your knee or above the knee. We never press on the knee. Okay. Now, if you notice like this, your hips going to the side, I want you to root down, get really, really, really tall. We're going to be here. We're going to breathe here. Okay. Hands can be at your heart, but as you're ready, your hands can go straight up. Your gaze can go up. Okay. And I just want you to be with that part of you that's wobbly, right? That part of you that's like constantly shifting to find your balance, right? The same thing that you're doing to balance right here, you're going to do no matter what your points of contact are. Sometimes those points of contact are a forearm and elbow, okay, your hands, your head. Trusting yourself, building that trust with yourself. The body will right itself. Good. We're going to release that right leg down. Okay. Inhale, take your arm. Exhale, take your hands down and find your way back to a downward dog. When you find that downward dog, take your left leg to the air, three-legged dog. Okay. You can keep the legs straight or bend the heel towards your backside. I want you to lubricate the hip joint on your left side. You'll circle that joint around a couple of times one way, a couple of times the other. Okay, we're going to continue to pull the energy on our left side. Okay, now step your left leg through. So think, well, actually, first take your left leg to the your left tricep and hold. So you're almost in a plank, and then inhale, take that leg back up. Now bring your knee to the nose, rounding forward, knee to nose, and then inhale back up. Good. And then across the body, left knee to the right tricep, hold. Good. Now take that left leg up. Now knee to nose, okay, but you may have to tent up, give yourself some height. Step that left leg through, bring your right knee down, okay? Now hold this. All right, so you can lean forward using the weight of your body forward. I want you to tune in, send your awareness to the top of your right quad. Remember when you sent the awareness to the sounds around you in your environment at the beginning of class? Okay, go ahead and send your awareness, complete awareness to the front of that right hip. If you would like to add to the right hip, left hand to your knee, right hand behind your hip. Press that hip a little farther forward, and at the same time, pressing the left hand. Broaden across your collarbone, open things up, open the space up. You could take those arms out and overhead, okay? But if they're just going straight up, I think your better use of the hands is to use the hands actively in this stretch. You can use the arms overhead to increase the stretch, but your hands have to almost be pointing toward that back wall to send you deep enough into that right quad to get more stretch. Good. Now release, straighten that left leg, Ardha Hanumanasana. Inhale, look up, and then exhale, extend your crown forward and bring your left shoulder to your left leg and hold. Good. Now keeping that left hand on the outside of the left leg, I want you to come forward. Okay, so you're lunging forward again. Bring your right knee off the ground, drop your heel, take your right arm up. So you find yourself in extended side angle, okay? You might have to hover that left hand or place that left hand on a block. Okay, stacking the shoulders, you're gonna look up at the right hand and hold. Good. Now roll to the ball of that right foot. Take your right hand down underneath your right shoulder. Hug your left hip back, your right hip forward. Take your left arm up and hold. Feel that stretch in the outside of your left hip. Good. Left hand down, step back to plank. Okay. Lower all the way to the ground. Left arm out to the side straight. Press into the heel of the right hand and roll. Okay, one leg over, maybe two legs over. Maybe you flex that left hand up. Reach the right hand back towards your fingertips. Hold. Good, and release. Okay, roll flat. Okay, lift up on the right hand. Thread your left arm under, palm down, right hand palm up. Lay your head down and hold. Okay, if you need a little bit more, you take this left leg, bend her straight to the side. If you're like me and your shoulders are very stacked, you can add in more, bending at your left elbow. Lift your head up and place your chin on the wrist. This is considered Padmasana, lotus of the arm. Good. And then release, unwind. Okay, draw that left leg back. We're going to press up to plank. and back to downward dog. Okay, from that downward dog, okay, go back into your breath. Take your breath, your break there. Good. And then the next time you exhale, bend those knees. You're going to float the feet forward and inhale up to a chair pose. So floating forward, inhale up to your chair pose. Exhale, take your hands to your heart, sending the blood flow and energy to the right side of the body. Shift your weight into your right leg. First, just bring this left leg off the ground to balance. And this may be your bird pose. Okay, otherwise begin to tip forward. And as you tip forward, try to lift that left knee as high as the left hip. Try to use that hamstring muscle. Bring that heel closer to your backside and hold. Your right leg is bent, much like chair pose. Your gaze is up. Everything has to be very engaged to hold this shape in your body. Now straighten that right leg. Bring your left leg forward. Okay, it can be bent, it can be straight. Your arms go behind you to counterbalance you. And then you very slowly, maintaining your balance, move back to bird pose. Inhale. Bring that right leg forward. This time, grab that right knee, and your right hand's on your hip. Okay, so this is where you are, or you grab that big toe, or you point that toe, and you begin to forward fold, trying to take that forehead toward the shin. Inhale, open up halfway, and exhale. Inhale, take your left leg to the side. Right arm stays in your hip or extends out. Okay, lift up out of this right hip so that you're nice and tall in that standing leg. And then eventually you're looking out over your right shoulder. Are you breathing? Train yourself to breathe, even in balance. Now inhale, bring that left leg forward, hold. Okay, now challenge yourself. Okay, whether your leg is bent or straight, take your hands towards your hips and hold. Keep this leg up. 1. Point the toe. 2. 3. 4. 5. Now step that leg back. Find yourself in a high lunge. Okay, if you have to, you straighten that leg for a moment and then you lunge deeply. Okay, take your arms to the side and then goalpost them. Roll your shoulders up and back, elbows back. Okay, if your weight's leaning forward, okay, think about it. If you have heavy weight on you, you got to engage the muscles that are going to allow you to take the weight of your body over your hips. Back leg may bend for a moment. Okay, and then you push into that back leg, straightening it. Feel the stretch coming up the front of that left hip, prepping you. Good. And then 3 times, straighten the right leg, take your arms overhead. Exhale, lunge. Okay, you'll continue. I'm not going to move dynamically because of my knee. Inhale, open up. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, up. Exhale, lunge. Good. Next time you straighten that leg, step your back leg forward. Good. Lengthen up. And then exhale, out and over. You're looking up. And then as you fold, create that space at the top of your hips. Okay, and fold. Okay, so pull up and out of that low back. Okay, so for some of you that are flexible, your forward fold may not feel as deep. Okay, but what you do feel is a space in your spine, which will be important in our if you don't build that awareness that in your back bends, you'll have this sense of vertebrae on vertebrae. Okay, so the bone hits the bone. Okay, so by engaging Uddiyana Bandha, okay, you're creating that space. Good. Now take your right leg and you step down dog with the feet down, and you're just working on balance one hand and 2 feet. Or take the right leg to the air and then find your balance on the 2 hands and the 1 foot. Okay, shift the balance to the right hand and the left foot, allowing yourself to hover the left hand. You might have to put it right down. left hand back toward the left ankle. Hug your shoulder back, left shoulder forward. Press out into that right heel so your right leg is very active. Stay here or begin to bend your right heel towards your backside. Release this left hand up and grab that top foot. Then pull again, trying to take that right knee to the ceiling. You should feel that stretch on the front of your quad. Okay, stay in that vulnerable, wobbly place. Good. Release that hand in. Okay, and then we're going to step your right leg through. Okay, or actually, let's bend the heel toward our backside. Circle the hip around a little bit, one way and another. Leg could be straight. I'm actually putting this in too early, I know. Good. All right, next time your left leg is to the air, step your right leg through and bring your left knee down. Lunge forward and focus on that left quad for a moment. Okay, so it's absolutely okay to lean forward, and even in this case, you can even let your knee come a little bit forward in front of your ankle. Okay, this is because I'm letting you stretch right now. Okay, I might approach that differently if I wanted you to strengthen. Okay, now you can add more by using the weight of your body. Right now, the weight of your body is forward. You can even drop that head if you're feeling an opening in your left quad. Close your eyes, send your wrist there. Okay, and then otherwise, we're going to take our right hand to our knee, left hand to our hip. And so that left hand has to actively press that left hip forward. So wherever you place that left hand, do so with understanding. We're stretching right here. We're pressing that forward. At the same time, we're self-adjusting. We're using this right hand to press against our knee. And as we do, we broaden across the collarbone, hold. Good. Now release. Hands down. Straighten your right leg and inhale, look up. Ardha Hanumanasana. Exhale, extend the crown of the head forward. Okay. Breathe in, send that awareness to the back of your leg. Okay. When you practice asana in this way with complete attention, and you are using your breath steadily, so you're bringing in prana, but your awareness is focused on a certain part of your body, the stretching or strengthening you're doing is more effective because you are fully there. You're not somewhere in your thoughts halfway doing your stretch or your strengthening. And at the same time, you're training the mind. Good. Now, do me a favor, okay? So, forward and take your right leg to the air, okay? So I know I forgot something. Take your right leg to the air, okay? And then inhale, bring your right knee to the outside of your right tricep and hold. Good. Now inhaling up straight. I want you to do the same thing, but round your back. Bring the knee towards your forehead. Really arch that back as much as possible. Take as much weight forward as possible. And then inhale, take it up. Now bring that right knee across to your left tricep. Hold. Hold steady. Use the muscles that it takes to hold steady. Good. Now take that right leg all the way to the air. Good. Step the right leg through and bring your left knee down. Place your right hand on the outside of your right foot. Now bring that knee off the ground, the heel, and you're in like warrior two legs. Take your left arm up. You're in an extended side angle. If you need to, I want you to hover. Okay, I want you, because the thing is, some of us to get the hand down, we're like this. If this is you, I want you to hover, put the hand on a block, okay? Or even bring that arm up towards you, putting the forearm on your knee. Okay, so we want to keep everything stacked, and that left arm goes out and over, okay? But it's slightly in front of you so that you can look up at it. Then you're going to press out into that left hand all the way back to that left foot. Good. Now take that left hand down under the left shoulder, roll to the ball of that left foot, and take your right arm up. Draw your right hip back, left hip forward. Good. Take your hand down, step back to a downward dog. Good. And then walk your feet forward a little bit and your hands back. You're at the middle of your mat. Okay, round your back and roll up your spine. So your ragdoll coming up. Then take the arms wide and overhead. Bring the hands down towards your heart. Shift the weight into your right leg. You've got a tree pose on the right leg. Taking your left foot, so left knee to the side, below your right knee or above. Notice if you take it to the above, a lot of times press in like this and their hip goes to the side. This is what I mean. Really tall in that standing leg. Okay, so imagine you're trying to be taller than your sibling family picture, right? You've got to increase the space between your vertebrae. Make yourself taller without drawing your shoulders up. Hands at your heart. Then maybe take your arms overhead. Maybe even look up. You're super comfortable here. Close your eyes. Try to balance. Okay, you can always open your eyes when you need. But when you close your eyes, just like when we plug our ears, we go boom, inward. And therefore, these internal signals, right, they're becoming louder. We're becoming efficient at running our own body because we're actually shutting down that brain to focus on what we're doing. Good. Now, release the left leg down, or bring your hands back down. Release the leg down. Good. And then find your downward dog. Good. From that downward dog, inhale forward to plank and lower down toward the ground. So we pulled a lot of energy on the right side. Take your right arm out to the side flat. Press into the heel of the left hand and roll. One leg over. Okay, maybe two legs. Maybe you flex up that right hand and take the left arm out and over. Keep rolling. Good, rolling flat. Pressing the left hand, thread your right arm under, palm down, left hand at your side, palm up. Okay, lay your head down. If this is a shoulder stretch for you, stay here. You need nothing more. You just need to breathe and be with the signals in your body, okay? If you do feel like, I'm not getting many signals in my body, you take that right knee, bend your straight to the side, and you lay back down. If you want more, you bend at that right elbow. You lift your head up and you place your chin on your wrist bone and you hold. Good. Release, unwind. Okay. Press up to plank and back to your downward dog. Okay. From that downward dog, okay, take your left leg up to the air. Bend the heel towards your backside and hold, going as far over as you can. If you feel like your spine will allow you to flip your dog into a wild thing or full wheel, you could take that left leg over and flip. Okay, but I need you to have awareness of your spine and to lift up and out of that waist before you flip. Good, now flip back over, inhale forward to plank. Left hand down, right hand up, hold. So we're going to hold a side plank. If you would like, you dip down 2 to 3 times so you have a side down vinyasa. Okay, you feel the stretch right here on the left side of the body when you come down. You inhale and reach those right hips up enough that you can feel the stretch on the outside. Little micro bend in this left elbow saves the shoulder. You can also step this right leg in front of you. Okay, experiment with this a couple of times. Good. And then you're back to a plank. Step back to a plank, then a downward dog. From that downward dog, you draw your left leg forward to pigeon. Okay, the left leg can be anywhere between 90 degrees and 45 degrees. For a very flexible person, it may be above 90 degrees, okay? But that's not something you force. It's something you do when you cease to feel any sensation in this position. Okay, walk your hands back, maybe just a little bit, or maybe you're able to bring your left hand to your knee and your right hand to your ankle. Okay, tent up this right foot and draw right hip forward and your left hip back. Okay, that's for someone who's bending. Otherwise, just disregard that cue. Okay, some of us, our hips are so tight, we come into this and we just simply hold this position as best we can and we let the muscles soften. On the other hand, if you're someone that this is comfortable with, then you need to perfect your alignment so that you're somewhat uncomfortable, or not uncomfortable, but somewhat the sensations in your body are turned up. Good. Now, coming forward, I want us to take our hands out toward the side, okay? Tent up your fingers, drop your left shoulder down and look toward the right. Good, and then round that back like an angry cat and drop the other shoulder down. Good. Now really do that a couple of times, maybe even close your eyes and figure out or focus what's happening. Good. Now coming up, we'll first walk our hands forward, pull up that low back like I wanted you to when you flipped your dog, and then lay flat. You might come to your forearms, you may lay completely flat. If you are super comfortable in pigeon, then and only then do you thread your right arm under and your left arm across your back. If you're not comfortable in pigeon, simply hold this posture and let it warm, let it open. You try to force more onto it, it's not really doing you as much good. On the other hand, those that are comfortable, right hand under, left arm across the back, reaching for that foot behind your back. I like to take the right hand, push my left shoulder up as I draw my left hip back, pull. Now, if you're aware of certain spots in your body that are tight, they're stuck, you work with them at moments like this. Good. Staying here, stay here longer. Or those of you who have open left hips, okay? Or those of you who just feel like you can add more to the sensations you're creating, walk your hands up. Some of us are going to simply hold ourselves up. Others are going to bend this leg forward. Okay, now you might bring the right leg forward. Okay, use that hamstring muscle, same way you did on your bird pose. Bring that heel as close to you as possible so that when you reach back to this right hand, you can stay relatively, for that right foot, you can stay relatively squared forward. A lot of us get in the habit of opening up like this to find our foot, which is fine if you have the control to square and drop everything forward, okay? Otherwise, better to keep things forward. Find your hamstring muscle. Do as much work with the leg as possible before you reach back for it. Of course, you can take this deeper. You can take your hand on the inside of that right foot, flip the grip, Bakasana, and drop that right leg forward. I'm not going to fully go into it because of my knee. And then anyone that feels like that right quad is open enough and you have control of your upper body, you shift some weight back, flex the foot, and you slide that right hand into that crease. You'll take your right hand forward, your left arm over your back, okay? Holding your mermaid. Good, and then release. Those of you who are laying forward, come up. Okay, we're going to lean toward the left, and when we do, bring our right leg forward. Take both legs in front of you for a moment. You can drop the knees side to side and look if you need a twist, and then turn your fingertips towards you. Lift your hips up. Okay, lift your hips up, and pulse the hips up for a moment. Okay, if you're allowed, drop your head back. If not, chin to chest. Okay, we're going to breathe through it, engage the muscles on your backside, and lift. Good. Now go ahead and set your hips back down. Extend the right leg forward, okay? And left foot either into lotus. If lotus is an option, you may even bind your left hand behind your back. Or take that left foot above or below the knee, okay? Wherever we are, we're going to inhale up tall, fold forward, look up like you're still stretching your neck, and then exhale, fold, extend your crown forward, okay? Move into your breath, begin to watch your breath like you did in the beginning with your Surya Bedna, okay? One note on Surya Bedna. I call Surya Bedna the Surya because it is opening the right nostril, okay? So the solar nostril. That's the way I'm taught, okay? I believe Iyengar does the exact opposite. If you inhale on the right and you exhale on the left, he calls that Surya, okay? The way I'm taught is the logic is you call it the channel that you're opening, okay? And these two channels are Ida and Pingala. And the two channels, Ida and Pingala, they circle around Sushumna. Sushumna is the central channel, okay? So I was asked a couple weeks ago, what is Hatha Yoga, okay? And we often hear it thrown around and it's kind of misinterpreted, okay? So oftentimes Hatha Yoga is simply used to refer to something that's more static postures, less vinyasa, okay? But really Hatha Yoga, if you read the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, okay, it is about opening up and clearing your channels in order to open Sushumna, okay? Let's go ahead and inhale up before I keep talking. Good. Take that left leg up, lean to the right, and drop that left knee on the inside of your right leg. If you need to grab a block or blanket and place it underneath your right hip, you do. Okay, for most of us, we're going to turn this left foot under and bring it a little closer to our side. There are exceptions, okay? If you're one of those people that you have sat always with your left foot to the side like that since you're a child, it's just the way your bones are. You're an exception and you can sit like that. I was not like that. I can make myself do that, but I'm destabilizing my ankle, okay? So for most of us, we turn it under. Now you're going to inhale up and then exhale, forward fold again, same as we did before. Okay, studying the sensations in your body. Okay, absolutely, study the sensations in your body and tune out the things that I'm saying. Okay, or if you're curious, you listen. Okay, so the intention, if we're working with those 8 limbs, okay, is to reach that state of samadhi. Okay. And one of the faster ways of doing it, okay, is to open up Kundalini energies. It's like at the base of the spine, okay? And when it opens up, it's like a reboot to your entire system, okay? It's a faster way. Okay? And so Hatha Yoga is not necessarily a gentle path, even though it typically refers to more gentle classes here in the West, okay? Path meant to be connected with our diet, and everything we do is about clearing our energy channels, okay? That's why yogis, typically, traditional yogis do not eat meat, because meat takes a lot to digest, it takes a lot of energy to digest, and we're trying to energy. Go ahead and inhale up. Good. Reach over and release that left leg. If you need to straighten it out, you do. Okay, taking a bit of a break. Bring your legs in, take your hands behind you, lift your hips up and simply hold, or give me 3 belly up vinyasa. Lower back, take your hips between your arms and lift one leg or two. In up and exhale back, maybe a little bit more momentum. You hold the breath as you lift the feet, good. And one more time, good, nice. Sit back down, straighten your right leg. Your left foot is back toward your base of your hip, but not too close. Inhale up straight, lean forward like you're going to take a forward fold. Take that left hand around the left leg, right hand behind your back. Inhale, look up, exhale, fold forward. So as you're forward folding, you are focusing on your breath. I'm just giving you additional information today. Good. Now inhale, open up again, release the hands, okay? Take your left hand behind you, lengthen from your spine, and then your right elbow goes to the outside of that left leg, and you're going to stay here. Or if possible, you take that right arm forward and you kind of circle it around that knee, left hand behind you, okay? Now, I wouldn't do that unless you feel that spine really open, okay? And when you're twisting, your hips are grounded, okay? Dropping one hip down. Mostly, that is a cue for somebody bendy. Someone bendy will often take these twists from their hips, okay? Now, if your body is tighter, it was just like we came into pigeon. It's less about alignment as well as much as it is about holding a shape and letting those muscles soften so that you can get up to the point that then you work with the alignment. Good. Release and unwind. Okay. Good. Take that left leg in front of you. Okay. Point your toes, hands behind you. Okay. And lift your hips up. If you need to, you tabletop, hold. Lift the hips up higher, hold. Good. Release down. Cross your legs. Take your arms in front of you and try to lift up. So maybe your feet stay down when you lift up. Okay, maybe you can bring the feet off the ground. You're either going to roll over those feet in vinyasa, or you're going to lift up and you float the feet back to plank, lower to chaturanga. Inhale, full through to your upward dog. Flush that energy through the body. Good. And then find your way back to your downward dog. From that downward dog, inhale forward to plank, lower to the ground, and take your left arm out to the side like a goalpost. Your left elbow is straight out from your left shoulder. Good. Press into the heel of the right hand. As you do, I want you to roll that left leg up in front of you and then stack the right leg on top. Or for some, you take the right foot in front of the left knee. If you do, then your hand presses that knee back. Most of us, though, we just stack the legs like we're taking a seat. If you don't feel anything in this left shoulder, check your alignment. Make sure the elbow is as high as the shoulder. Now lay the left side of your head down. I keep my head up so that you can hear my voice, right? But setting it down, you're going to look out toward the right, draw your fingers together, press into the heel of the right hand. Okay, if you're not feeling anything, you can look at me. As my right shoulder raises, it drops my left shoulder down. And so this is an active thing, okay? Active thing so you can feel the stretch. Good. Now release and move this left arm as if it could go through the floor. Okay, you move it into goalpost arm. Okay, so it looks like this. Okay, left shoulder or left elbow out of the left shoulder. Press into the heel of the right hand. This time, take your right leg over. Okay, if you want more, you're going to take that right arm out and over, reaching for the hand behind the back. Now, a lot of times what I see happen is people focus on bringing their hands together. And when they do, they drop that left elbow behind the lower than the shoulder. So actually, for the opening purposes, if arm in alignment, okay? However, some people can take their hands together and they can keep rolling. So know who you are, focus on the sensations, good. And release. Okay, find your way back to a downward dog. Okay, find your way back to a downward dog. Okay, take your right leg to the air. Bend the heel towards your back side. Okay, now float and flip to a wild thing, a full wheel. Stay where you are, just opening up your hip a little bit more so that your balance is somewhat unstable and you're having to like engage to hold yourself in that place. Okay, after you flip, we're going to flip back over. Okay, find a plank and shift, right hand down, left hand up, hold it static, lower down 3 times, lowering down and then inhaling up. Exhaling down. Look for the stretch when you come down on the lower half of the body. And then inhale up. Feel it on that top side. Good. Move in a way that it gets deeper. Good. Take your left hand down. Okay. Right leg to the. Bring your right leg through to pigeon. Okay. So I'm not going to fully demo this side. I'll talk you through it. Okay. So inhaling up, those of you that are flexible, I want you to turn that back foot under, draw your right hip back and your left hip forward, okay? Those of you that are like me and you're kind of leaning to one side, maybe position your arms so it shifts your weight a little bit more toward the left, okay? Let yourself kind of stew, marinate in this shape, okay? Warming up the bodies. Then we're going to come forward, lengthen up out of that left way or the low waist. And then you can shift side to side. Get your twist in, shifting side to side. Good. And then coming straight forward. I want you to lengthen back out of that low waist and then forward fold, fold straight forward. Rest on your forearms, okay, or flat. Okay. Those that want to add the stationary twist in, take your left arm under, okay, and you have to be relatively comfortable here. Right arm across your back, reaching for your right foot, okay. And then just allow yourself to hold here for a moment. Some of us need a lot of time here, like a yin posture that you might hold for 5 minutes, right? For what's going on in your body and the tightness in your legs. That may be natural, hereditary, or it could be that you've done things like running and biking and weightlifting in which you've tightened those muscles. And therefore you need to hold steady in the same group of muscles and hold still as long as you can so things can truly let up. On the other hand, some of us, boom, our muscles were up and open at 20 seconds, okay? And so in that case, if you're comfortable here, you walk yourself up. Now, first step is to just simply hold yourself upright. And as you are aware of more space, because you're focused inward, you can tell, you'll walk your hands back further. On the other hand, if you can walk your hands back further, and remember when we were in a high lunge and I had the weight of the body over the hips, if you can do that like I can and hold my body up, then I'm going to lift that back leg up. Okay, using the hamstring muscle, I'm going to bring it as closely as I can before I reach back. Okay, and that's going to eliminate the amount that I have to open up. If you do have to open up sideways to find your foot, then I want you to draw your left shoulder forward and your right shoulder back. Remember when we were balancing on one leg, okay, or trying to take that leg to the air? Right, those shoulders had to be square. That was training you for a moment like this. You know, you're training yourself to have body memory, holding yourself in alignment, okay? Now, if you hand on the inside of the leg and bend that left leg forward, Bayakasana, okay, that might be what it takes to get a deeper quad stretch for some of us. Good. And then if you did open up into your mermaids, you're welcome to, okay? So if your quad's open and you flex your foot, you should be able to draw that left elbow into that flexed hip crease. Then you'll turn your left hand up, right hand overhead. Okay, hold your mermaid. And of course, if you not breaking that down today. It is my intention to start doing little tutorial videos that you can then supplement and watch to have certain things broken down. Kind of the certain things that I will use over and over again. All right, release the back leg, lean toward the right, bring your left leg forward, take your legs up and just drop them side to side. If you need to twist, good. And then lift up, inverted tabletop hold, engage your back. Most of us sag the backside. Lift up. If you can, drop your head back. Keep lifting up, lifting up, lifting up, lifting up. Good. Now sitting back down, extend your left leg straight. Take your right leg into lotus. I can't do that range right now. Or take your right foot below the knee or above the knee. Inhale up and forward fold. Those of you that are flexible in that forward fold, Uddiyana Bandha, I want you to drop up and back. I want there to be a little space, okay? So here's an example. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look, I just laid flat forward. I just like go towards your, my tendency is to be flexible. In order to be strong, I have to always focus on strength. When I practice, I focus on strength, okay? Because I'm trying to balance my body out, okay? So here's me just laying flat forward. Okay, here's me with Uddiyana Bandha. So I'm drawing up and back. When I come forward fold, look, I'm still coming forward fold, right? But there is a pulling up in my low back, creating a space right there at the top of the hips. So I was cued this, and many of you know I've been working with Saba. I was cued this, and what I'm finding is as I'm working in that way, right, I feel my low back beginning to open up, okay, and strengthen because I'm practicing my forward folds like this. So this is why I keep emphasizing it. Good. And then inhaling up, good. Lean toward the left, and I really shouldn't demo this. You're just taking internal rotation on this right leg. Okay, good. And then you're going to fold back over. I apologize, but I cannot do that right now. Okay, a couple more breaths, really focusing on the sensations you're creating in your body. Good. Inhaling back up. Now we're going to lean forward like we're going to take a forward fold and then wrap this right arm around the body, left arm around the back. Inhale, look up, exhale, fold. Okay. So getting into that habit, if you're always doing your forward folds like this, a couple things are happening. One, you're keeping that neck stretched, okay? So it's prepared when we start to do stuff that requires more stretch in the neck, like your shoulder stands. Okay. And two, when you dip your head forward like this, you just extended your spine. Okay. So you just made that spine. When I said that cue about trying to get a little taller than a sibling in a family photo, okay, essentially we're creating that same kind of sensation. You're reaching for something on a top shelf, okay? Here it's going to be more effective, right? So training yourself to focus on the sensations of creating space in the vertebrae rather than the random thoughts. You don't have time for random thoughts if you're practicing, fully practicing yoga, okay? No secondary thoughts. Okay, inhale, open up, take your right hand behind your body, left arm extends up, and then take your left elbow to the outside of the right knee. You just go ahead and take this twist in a more simple way, especially if it's more effective. Okay, if it's just so easy, you need more. You take the left arm and you wrap it around, okay, right arm behind your back, and then eventually you're working your hand up towards your, okay. If you're bending, I want you to specifically drop that right hip down, get really tall before you twist. I want you to make that twist come from the mid to upper back. If you're not bending, don't listen to me, just twist, okay? Open the space so that eventually you'll be able to pinpoint and be precise in where you're placing the stretch. but you can't go there until the body opens. Good. Release, come forward, okay? Bring your legs up, okay? Lift up into your inverted tabletop. Hold your inverted tabletop or give me 3 belly up vinyasas, okay? So lift up, bring your hips back, good. And up and back, good. And up and back, good. Nice. Now sit back down. Cross your legs, lift up, even if it's just a little bit, okay? And then roll over those feet. Give me a vinyasa, belly down. Now, if you're all going to make this a regular practice, I'm going to take what I did today, build on it, and we'll move in a different way. We'll move a little faster. This, I've been kind of slowing it down a little bit more, okay? But when I have regulars in the class, then I'm going to each week build upon whatever we did on the past week. Good. All right, coming forward to plank, lower down all the way to the ground. Right arm is to the side. It's a goal post, okay? You're going to roll onto your right leg. So you're laying on your side first, and then draw this right leg up in front of you. So your arm behind you is a 90-degree angle. The legs in front of you are 90-degree angles. Stack that left leg on top, or take that left on the right. Okay, if the left foot's in front of the right knee, use your left hand to press that knee back. If your legs are just stacked, which is what the majority of us need to do in the beginning, okay, your left hand is in front of you. Press into and your fingertips are away. Press into that left heel of the hand, raising the left shoulder. Good. And hold. Good. Release and roll flat. Okay, take that right hand, turn the right arm under. Okay, elbow straight out of the shoulder, roll. One leg over, maybe 2 legs over. Okay, roll your left shoulder up and back, bringing those elbows together. Good. Release and unwind. Okay, and this time just press up to a tabletop. Okay, couple of cat-cow. Inhale, look up. Exhale, chin to chest. Good. And then walking your hands up. Take your right leg to the side. Inhale, your arms up and overhead. Drop your left hip to the side. Go into that lateral stretch a little bit deeper. Good. Inhaling out. Bring the right leg in. Left leg to the side. Arms up and over. Lengthen out and over. Create that space. Go a little bit further. Good. Inhaling up straight. Okay. Turn your toes under. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see better. Okay. Lift up out of your waist. Take your hands under your low back, much like that back bend we did at the beginning of class. So connection to the beginning of the class. Press your hips forward. Okay. Now, if you can, take your right hand back, and just your middle finger is going to touch the back of your heel. That middle finger pushes into the heel, and you press into your left hip, pushing you forward, as well as this fingertip. Roll your shoulders up and back. You can drop back if it affects your breath. I want you to take the chin to the chest and hold. Good. Now inhaling up. You're either going back with 2 hands, or you're going to switch. Right hand down. And you're going to, right hand's going to press your hips forward. Left arm goes out and over. Fingertip toward the top of the heel. Okay, shift yourself forward, hold. Good. Now, you're going to do it with both. Okay, so both hands back and hold. Some of you, though, with deeper back bends, if you prefer, you can untuck the feet. Okay, your hands still go toward those heels. Okay, now if you're getting it like this is not a back bend. Okay, maybe you feel a quad stretch a little bit, but it's not a back bend. Okay, I want you to hips forward, and from that, you're able to reach your feet. Okay, and then there's a tilt forward, just like when you were in gate pose. Really, what I want you doing is tilting to the side, almost like you're going to fall. Here, there's a sense of if you had a wall in front of you, your hip wall, bottom part of your legs would not touch the wall. Good, and release. Good, come back up. Okay. Find your downward dog, walk the feet through, okay, and sit down. Okay, so we're going to move into the Chandrabhedna, and then I'm going to send you into Shavasana and the class off. Okay, so you'll stay in Shavasana as long as you want, and then you'll come back and you'll do your own enclosure practice. I apologize, I ran a little bit late today, and I've got a medical call about to happen, and so I'm going to have to answer that. Okay, so coming into your seat like you did at the beginning of class. Okay, this time take your left hand. I know it's going to feel awkward for most of you. Pinch the nose. Okay, we're going to inhale in the Surya side. So inhale, exhale left. Okay, inhale right, exhale left. Okay, and you're just going to continue to breathe like this. Inhale right, exhale left. Okay, when you feel yourself, because it's you might feel sluggish after lunch, and you breathe in a clockwise way. Okay, if you're agitated, you've been out in the stores and you're in that long line, or somebody cuts you off in traffic, all of the things that are really happening a lot right now because people are stressed. Okay, then you breathe in this way, counterclockwise. Okay, you wind your energy down. Okay, so breathing in that counterclockwise way. Good. All right, when you feel settled, you'll exhale on that left side. You'll lay back for Shavasana. If you want to end with your shoulders stand, then make sure you take something like Mathyasana, fish pose afterwards to compensate. Okay. Anything else that you need. I really appreciate all that you for being here, and I apologize that I'm just ending you in Shavasana. Please, you all have ways of connecting to me. Send me any questions or comments, and it means so much to see you regularly on this basis. It's encouraging to me, and I appreciate you. Okay, since you do have a longer Shavasana, okay, I want you to think of all that I explained in the limbs of yoga. I want you to practice your pratyahara. Okay, so maybe in the beginning you are more aware of the sounds around you in your environment, and then drop those sounds inward. And allow yourself to rest, hold neutral. Okay. And remember that you will draw yourself back out. Those of you working on meditation, if you have time, when you come out of Shavasana, sit for a little while. Okay, draw your awareness back to the source of attention. Eventually, you are alert, but there are no thoughts. If you begin to have secondary thoughts in your meditation, focus your attention on your breath until the thoughts cease. and have a good day. Love to all of you.